Welcome, my lovelies. Welcome back. Welcome if you're new. I'm Witch Hazel, and today we are talking a little bit about the question that's been on my mind for quite some time, and that is, am I still a witch? If you're interested in finding out, stay tuned. All right, my friends, a lot has happened in the pretty darn near 2 years since I posted my last video. It's actually taken me that long to kind of have an epiphany. I'm beginning to realize I am a very slow learner. Not a book learner, mind you. I'm very good at book learning, but I just mean life learner. I'm very slow. If you recall, in my last video, I had been back and forth in different places between Colorado and California, where my family is. I had a very difficult time with work. I wasn't finding steady work. And to top off everything, at the end of 2018, in November of 2018, I lost my grandmother. She passed away in Austria. And all of this kind of gelled together to make me and my witchy identity kind of clash a bit. During this time, it was obviously a very busy time in my life. I ran into some major issues with my witchy practice. Mainly the fact that I was not surrounded by my usual things, meaning my tools, my resources that I normally have in my own home, because I wasn't in my own home for most of that last couple of years. Therefore, I was not practicing in the way I thought I was supposed to, meaning I wasn't celebrating Sabbats, I wasn't performing spells, I did very little with tarot and crystals. I had other things going on. I only recently realized that my problem was not that I wasn't doing all the things. The problem was that I was focused too much on the supposed to, meaning witches are supposed to celebrate the Sabbats. Witches are supposed to cast spells and use incense and candles and crystals and tarot. There were so many things I was supposed to do that I just wasn't doing. And on top of that, I had this YouTube channel, which was growing beautifully. I was so happy about that, but it put a lot of pressure on me because I really wanted to do a good job in putting out videos for you, but I had kind of run out of things to say because I was equating my channel with all of those supposed tos. And even more than that, now there were the YouTube supposed tos. I'm supposed to build this massive audience. I'm supposed to be on all of the social media platforms, which, by the way, I hate social media, which is why I failed at doing more on Facebook like I promised I would, which is why I kind of left Instagram for a long time. But that's a side note. So all of these additional supposed tos was what was really cluttering up my mind, and I couldn't do it. I was overwhelmed with all of it. One additional thing that I will add in, kind of to the witchy supposed to, was I had an interesting experience when I went to see my grandmother in the last couple of days of her life, and then through all the ceremonies for her burial and her, recognizing her. It was all beautiful. It was so beautiful. But my grandmother and my dad's entire family are Roman Catholic. And I realized during that process, I felt like a fish out of water because I was not raised with that religion. I had almost never gone to a Catholic service unless I was visiting my grandparents in Austria, and my grandma took us with, my sister and I. And I didn't know what everyone else seemed to know. I didn't know when I was supposed to stand or sit or what I was supposed to say or what I was supposed to repeat. I did not have any of those ingrained things that all Catholics learn. I became kind of interested in this because I felt like I was lacking. I felt like I couldn't connect to this very important piece of my heritage, of my familial heritage. And that, for me, which I'll get into in another video, was a very big piece of me and my identification as a witch. But therein lies the rub, because witches do not look at Christian things. We do not look at Catholic things. We do not consider these things beautiful. That's wrong. Again, a lot of the outside thoughts and perceptions that I was trying to stay within the boundaries of, that were not serving me well. So in the end, I kind of ended up with this question of, are witchcraft and I parting ways? Am I still a witch? I'm not doing any of the witchy things, and now I'm interested in this Catholic stuff. Eventually, I realized that what I needed to do was kind of step back from everything and reevaluate my concept of witchcraft. What is it? What does it mean? What does it mean to me? That is the important question in any spirituality, in any religion. Whenever you decide, or I decide, I'm going to say me, I'm not going to add anyone else into it, on following a certain path, there has to be a reason, right? Even if it's just, this is what my parents did. It was good enough for them, it's good enough for me. If that reason works for you, go with it. So I had to find my reason. I had to find my why. I realized I was still wearing the clothing of my baby witchhood that no longer fit. All of these ideas that I had learned and grown accustomed to about what witchcraft is from my early days of practice, which is normal and useful because I didn't know anything then. So I was going along with what other people said. But that was quite some time ago now. And I am capable now of coming up with my own thoughts and my own traditions and my own kind of rationalization for why I'm doing what I'm doing. Additionally, I had some help from a new path I was following. I don't remember if I mentioned it in my last video, but I decided to become an author. Things and stuff happened mid-2017 that prompted me to say, you know what? I'm going to follow what I've always wanted to follow, the path I've always wanted to follow, which is writing. From the time I was a little kid, I've always wanted to write. And you'll remember my very first book I put out was a witchy themed manifestation money book, which I still love, but I realized I did a lot of things wrong with that book. Not the content itself, but with the process of putting it out into the world. I have since unpublished it and have plans to one day republish it a little bit better. From that initial book, I veered into my true love, which is fiction, and began writing romantic fiction, romances. So you will sometimes see me reference those videos. I already have a few times. Whenever there's a topic that I think you guys will like as well, then I'll reference those videos so you can take a look at them. For example, my Haunted Cheeseman Park video that I did for Halloween. Anyway, that was a long tangent to say that writing has really helped me with this idea because I am now able to mesh the two. This idea of words are important. I always knew this, but I never associated it with witchcraft. But words are important. Definitions are important. You need to have the right words for the right definition. And therefore, my definition of witchcraft no longer worked. In my next videos, because I don't want these to get too long, I'm going to be going over with you what my new definitions are. Fair warning up front, I may use some provocative titles, just because I think it would be fun to keep everyone guessing of what my opinion is until you see until you see the video itself. That's just a warning. But what I'm going to go through in the following videos is my new definitions of witchcraft and my thoughts on why I believe certain things or why I want to follow a certain path. Your homework, should you choose to follow along with me in this, is to consider this question. What is witchcraft? I'm not talking the Webster's Dictionary definition of witchcraft. I'm talking about, what is it to you? What drew you to witchcraft in the first place? What part of it just speaks to your soul? What keeps you going in this path? There has to be a reason. If you have stuck with it, there's a reason why. What is that reason? Chances are you may not have thought about that. Many people just go along with tradition, routine, habits without questioning. But now's the time I want you to question those habits. And in my next video, you're going to have an opportunity to comment and let me know the answers to these questions. And that is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I can't wait to continue on this theme, and I will see you next week. Until then, blessed be.